Welcome to a presentation from the Academic Writing Program at the University of Maryland. My name is Lyra Hilliard, and I am an instructor in the Academic Writing Program. Today, I'm going to talk about inquiry. Specifically, I'm going to define inquiry and explain how it is at the core of your linked papers. I'll show you how to move from a general topic to a narrow topic and discuss how to enter ongoing conversations. I'll model how to use questions as knives to open up your chosen topic so that you can focus on something specific, interesting, and manageable. Ultimately, your goal is to develop an inquiry question that will drive your research for the first of your linked papers, and this video will help you to do that. By this point, you probably already have or are working on 3 viable topics for your linked papers. What makes a topic viable? Well, does it have exigence? Is it open to multiple views? Is it debated in both public and academic circles? This is an important one because at least half of the research you conduct this semester needs to be with academic sources. Keep that in mind as you finalize your research topic. And finally, does it lead to questions or issues that you don't have answers to yet? These are good places to begin. For the rest of this presentation, I'd like you to pick one of your possible topics to work with. Here are some topics that I could use. Ultimately, I want to work on blended learning. All right, so blended learning. In essence, we know that blended learning combines face-to-face with online instruction, but what specifically do I want to know more about? What is underneath this umbrella? These are all terms or ideas associated with blended learning, but I'm not interested in everything here, so my next step is to figure out which things I really am interested in. I made a mind map that shows some issues related to blended learning. I know I'm focused on education, higher education. I work with undergraduates, which means that for the most part, I'm working with millennials, most of whom are digital natives. And I teach writing in small studio classes. Right there, I've cut out a great deal of the many conversations about blended learning. I'm not in the corporate world, I'm not teaching remote or adult or non-traditional students, and I'm not teaching large lecture classes. I'm teaching writing to digital natives. Now it's your turn. Take out a piece of paper or go online and make a free mind map like I did on Bubble or Poplet or somewhere else. Somehow draw out your topic. This helps a lot, and it only takes a couple of minutes. Taking a couple of minutes to brainstorm now will save you a lot of time and agony in the long run, so please complete this step before continuing. When I look at my mind map, I can see pretty quickly that I don't want to focus on administrative issues in higher education. I want to focus on students in my classes. By focusing on writing classes, I'm cutting out most of the conversations on blended learning, and that's fine. I want to know more about what I do, specifically teaching writing, online and face-to-face, to millennials. That's what I want to focus on. I want to know if the blended format is working. An example from the DK handbook distinguishes between general topics and narrow topics. By this point in the presentation, you should have progressed from a general topic to a narrow topic. One of the ways that you can test whether your narrow topic is viable is by Googling it. While you're Googling it, you'll also get a sense of who is talking about it, and this is the next step, to figure out who else besides you cares about this topic and why. Notice that there will be some things about your narrow topic that people do agree on and some things that people don't agree on. And your job is to find the latter, find the debates. You need to write down these things too, who your stakeholders are and why they care. And this list of stakeholders is something you will need to share in class soon. Let's review what we mean by inquiry, a close examination of something so that you can understand it better. Your topic needs to be interesting enough so that not only are there lots of debates, but the debates themselves are complex. It should be fun for you to examine these debates and issues from multiple angles. You can come up with lots of questions in just a couple minutes of brainstorming. Please do this now. Okay, so now you have a lot of questions. That's great, but in order to keep this manageable, it's time to organize. I've organized mine using one method that you can find in the course reading, stasis theory. You will learn about stasis theory in class. And keep in mind that while stasis theory is a widely used system, there are lots of different categories that individual theorists and instructors use. Now it's your turn. Organize your questions and figure out where to start. This is a critical step. You don't want to leave this presentation with just the last step, the list of 1,000,000 questions. You need to organize them in order to have a clear path out of here. Your goal is to select a question that is interesting. It should matter to more people than just you. And you also need to focus on something that you can be open-minded about, something that you can change your mind about. Think about my question for a minute. Blended learning, writing classrooms, student performance. I'm the Blended Learning Coordinator for the Academic Writing Program at the University of Maryland. Do I have a stake in this? Of course I do. I'm invested in this. Do other people have a stake in this? Absolutely. Chances are, if you're watching this, you are a student in a blended or online class. Lots of people care in both the public and academic spheres. I want to know if students are performing better or at least well in blended classes. I think that they are. I certainly hope that they are. But I need to be willing to entertain the possibility that they aren't. I have to look at any research that argues that students don't necessarily perform better or even well in blended classes. If that research is out there and I ignore it, then I'm not doing my job as an academic. I'm not doing what I need to do in my inquiry process. I'd be stacking the evidence that I like, finding sources that say yes, students perform better, to fit with my preconceived ideas. And that wouldn't be good for several reasons. Take a second to consider your own research question. Do you care about it? Do other people? Are you willing to be open-minded? Can you see yourself changing your mind? If you have an opinion on your topic, you have to be willing to change your mind in order to conduct an ethical academic inquiry. This last slide shows you where you are going with all of this work, developing an argument of inquiry. You're going to make the case that your question is interesting, you will conduct good research, and you'll present your findings to your audience in the form of an inquiry paper. This concludes this presentation on inquiry and the linked papers. Please make sure that you have completed all of the tasks along the way so that you are prepared for class. Thanks for watching.